Check, 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 check.
It's working.
Check. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Well, that was the test, right?
Yes.
Obviously, Ken and me, hi Ken, good to see you. And we are chosen to come in as sound technicians, right? We are sound checkers, actually. Jesus will always send first something to check, to prepare the stage, right? So I see myself as it's, you know, those guys, no? Like nowadays, I don't see them so much. But there's a sound check obviously needed. And that sound check would be needed because of a lack of communication or a failure in communication. And so that was really for all the translators. If you could translate check, 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 can you hear me? Then you're aligned, right? If you did not translate that, then we need to restore communication. We are here for restoring communication with his mind, isn't it? And so in that check, 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 do you hear me? There's all the power of heaven, because it is the power to communicate from self to self. I do not have any idea what warm up means, or warm up sequence of sessions, because somehow it almost indicates as if we would be waiting for something and there would be something coming up that is not experienced today or this very moment. And that's why it's better if we come here in as sound checkers and pretend that we are actually the backstage crew. And if you are chosen as the backstage crew to set up the stage, then you can fulfill your function perfectly well. And this is really in alignment with the workbook of A Course in Miracles, which of course there's no other way than to demonstrate that this is working and how it works. I don't know how familiar you are with, let's say, the boldness of expression that Jesus is offering you in the Course. Like he's straight in your face. He's not really talking around, right? And he can be quite offensive. And maybe the offensiveness of offering the uncompromising teaching that it doesn't take time, it doesn't take any effort, it hasn't really anything to do with how well you're studying it. It hasn't anything to do from where you are coming and how many great spiritual experiences you already made. It really has just only something to do with how determined I am to accept his offer now, this very day. And so you are buying your ticket to paradise right here, right now, and you're experiencing your entrance into paradise right here and now, and you're experiencing and recognizing you're not being here also right now. For a human being, that might be quite offensive, right? Not to be offered some future, not to be offered some rewards after making a lot of effort. And if you're looking at this essential lesson that teaches not just the entire course, but I'm talking about the lesson 132. I lose the word from all I thought it was. Lesson of today, right? And seeing that it is the answer how actually the mind training works. I don't know if you noticed that he asks you to check for yourself. But if you think that the world you see is real, and this is the reason why a human being even asks for help, asks for restoration of communication, asks for a new way of seeing, right? If you think the world that you see is real, do you remember how Jesus is calling you in today's lesson? And if you do not doubt that it is real, right? He calls you a madman. This is very offensive, I told you. And I wonder how you, Alexandra, how you translate that in Greek. I think it's enas trelos, right? That's a madman. See, I speak Greek perfectly well. You will find this word madman 7 times in this Course in Miracles. But if you look at what it offers you as the sense, what loco in Spanish means, or der Verrückte auf Deutsch, madman, you could also say he has one word which he likes much more, which is insane and insanity. And this is really the condition of a human mind who believes that he thinks that the world he sees is real. It's an insane thought. And from there, he actually gives a perspective into hope of freedom. If you want to have hope of freedom, and this is all part of this today's lesson, then you will need to question the effects of your thoughts. And so everything that how this works and how he offers it is about the change of my mind. Because the change of my mind determines and represents the change of my thoughts. And if my mind changes and my thought changes, I have hope for seeing this world in a completely different way. So he makes the expression that anybody here in the population of this globe, more than 8 billion people, anyone is free to change his mind.
Cualquiera es libre de cambiar su mente.
Exceptional good perspective. And he
Desde una buena
continues by telling us that
y él nos dice,
okay, Raúl needs to be muted.
Raúl is your translator.
Because I have him in my sound system.
Maybe you have the Spanish channel activated.
Right. He probably hasn't activated it. So he says then that the change of mind, what that really means is that you have changed the source of all ideas that you think or ever thought or yet will think. That's in the second paragraph. So all the thoughts of the past, all the thoughts in the future have changed their source. And then we actually come to that experience of to free the past from what you thought before, to free the future from all the ancient thoughts that you projected and you put out there. And those are thoughts of seeking what you do not want to find. But the present now remains the only time. It is the present remains the only time. Here in the present, the world is set free. I think those are extraordinary expressions of the understanding how this mind training works. And then further on, just to finish this up, he says, perhaps you think that you didn't make the world, right? And if I think I did not make this world, right, I have actually missed what the teaching of A Course in Miracles is, yeah? And then you might think that you came unwillingly, he says, to what was made already, hardly waiting for your thoughts to give it meaning. Yet in truth, you found exactly what you looked for when you came. Which means that here I came into this time-space continuum, into this dream, and I actually are looking for evidence what my thoughts are and where I'm coming from. And there's the world to see. But what has to be learned is exactly the expression that there is no world apart from what I think, from what I wish, this wishful thinking. And it is the change of my mind, of our mind, that opens it, that gives it, that allows that the Holy Spirit can come in and can show us that what you want to see is not something that is exchangeable and changes all the time, but has consistency, has a quality of oneness, of eternity, of something that is not part of perception, but part of the power of recognition, how we see and recognize ourselves. And I think that is a good transition to bring the second sound engineer, Ken, in and let him elaborate and continue on at that point. Are you ready, Ken? Check.
Ken, we're checking here again. Yes. We're gonna restart the translator program. Or there's a bug in the translation. I'm just gonna restart the whole thing. Okay, Alex, hang on for a sec. I will restart again. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay. So I want to make sure that everyone can hear Raul and that the translation to Spanish is working properly. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Kenneth, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Andreas. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Devavan, for your beautiful teaching for us with I Loose the World. I'm just putting it back on gallery so I can see everyone. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to try and speak slowly so all the translators can keep up. And that's a struggle for me because I can talk very fast at times, but just so appreciative of just everything that goes into these events and all the translators. It's just wonderful that we can hear this in so many different languages. It's just such a beautiful thing. And just, yeah, thank you, Andreas, for inviting me. It touches my heart. when we had our first call about this. And yeah, I just feel so honored to be here. And just to really know you, Andreas, because like for me, when I think of you, you are the friend of everyone. That's what, every time I think of you, you are the friend to everyone. That's how I see you. Like, you bring everyone together, and you have that natural gift. And so I just feel so grateful for that. And so, yeah, thank you for inviting me. And it's funny because before this happened and the first time I met you, I actually knew that somehow in my mind, I knew that there would be more things that we would be involved in, but I could never imagine that we'd be doing this. So deep gratitude to you and to all the team for what you're doing. It's so beautiful to share this wonderful message. So yeah, I just feel so honored to sit here and work for Jesus, really. He's the master, he's the commander. And so to be in his presence with you all is everything to me. And as Devavan was saying, you know, it's here and now. Our moment is now. There's nothing to be waiting around for. And that's what I love about what Jesus is teaching us. Like, it's now. And it was the other day that I was reading that in every minute of every second of every day is your salvation. Yeah, this is the moment. This is the moment that we have together. And this is so precious to realize ourselves. And that's all that Jesus is really saying over the whole book, to remember who we are. And whichever way that's going to go in, to remember that. So yeah, I just love the idea of this festival, like a festival of joy. And it's funny because been reading the Course in Miracles, and often it seems like it's a struggle looking at ourselves, but often we forget joy. And I don't know if you've actually noticed how many times he talks about joy. It was like, for me, it was like so off my radar, this idea that this can be a joyful journey. And yet he speaks about that all the time, that the Holy Spirit's function is joy, to bring joy to our minds, that you are joy. And that's what I feel like I want to bring today, to remember that, because I need to reinforce that into my mind all of the time, just to remember that is the reason why we're here. That's the only reason, you know, for our happiness. Our birthright is to be happy. And it's like, to the ego mind, that just seems absolutely impossible. It seems like it's so far out of reach to be happy. And it's like Jesus is telling us that that is our truth. That is our absolute truth, to be happy. And it's like, so I'm just setting my heart on that. That's what I want. That's what I want for everyone. I feel that's such a beautiful gift. And it was funny because it was like the other day, Jesus said, "You're here to bring joy." And I thought, oh, thank you, Jesus. You always give so many beautiful gifts. And that's the wonderful thing about listening and following to the voice that knows. Because it's like he knows us. He knows where we're at in our minds. And he knows exactly what is needed in any given moment for our completion. And so no matter how twisted we think our minds are, as Devavan was saying, you know, we're mad, but it's like Jesus knows exactly how to contact us. He knows exactly how to talk to us in a way that we're going to understand it. So it feels like this very personal relationship as we undo. And maybe you don't even like the word Jesus. Maybe you like spirit. Maybe you prefer God. It really does not matter. And that's what I find so inspiring, that like there's something far greater than what I believe that I am, wanting to contact me and love me, and that I'm worthy of this love. And I think that's something that I've been sort of looking at over these past few days. It's like, I love giving love, and when I feel the presence of God and the love in my heart, I want to extend that. I want to give that to everyone. And it's just like, this is amazing. Oh my God, I just want to give. I want to give to you, and I don't need anything. And that's how I know I'm in true giving, because I feel like I don't need anything. I just want to give. I just want to give this love away. I want everyone to experience it. It's such a beautiful thing. And yeah, my thoughts were, but when it comes down to receiving, I feel unworthy. I feel unworthy to receive. And so that's really me just putting that out there. That's my prayer. It's like, you know, I feel like Jesus is saying to me, you know, you are worthy to receive this love. And so I think that's what I want to share with everyone today, that often we talk a lot about giving this love you must give, but equally we must receive, and that God has so much to give us, and that we forget that it's our birthright, and that it's ours. And often that unworthiness creeps in. And so, yeah, I just want to out myself. You know, I'm not trying to be anything here for anyone. I'm just trying to be as honest as I possibly can and share exactly where I'm at. So it's like, yeah, that's truly what I want. I want to wash away this unworthiness for this love that is being completely and utterly offered. And it's funny, it's like when you say that, it's all of a sudden, it's like everything starts to configure to show your mind like just how loved you are. And as Devavan was saying, it's like it depends on what you want to see. You're going to get back the reflection of what you want. And that's why it's like so important, isn't it, to start our days right. It's so important to know that like we are loved, and that peace is ours, and that joy is ours, and that must be up front all day for that to be received. And if that's not being received, then I'm perceiving something that is not there, and I'm holding grievances in my mind which are stopping that light from coming through. Because it was funny, I don't follow the lessons in order, but the thought that was coming to my mind was to share today is, you know, the world I see holds nothing that I want. And it's like this is the whole trick, really. And you know, this retreat, the theme is love at first sight. And it's like, if we believe that anything in this world is going to love us other than God, then we are going to be completely and utterly lost. If you're looking outside of yourself to be loved, then good luck, you know, like good luck with that, because that's going to be hell, I have to tell you. And as Devavan said, you know, Jesus doesn't mince his words. In the Course, there is no love but God's. There is no love between people. It's not there. It's only the love of God. There is no other love. And so it's like, never settle for second best. That's what I say, is we have to keep the focus up front with God. And in turn, as Devavan was sharing, that's what's going to change the whole thing. That's what's going to be the unconditional love, which loves everything, not separately, not individually, to the special ones or the special groups or whatever it is that we want to make in this fragmented world. It's like Jesus wants the unified perception to happen, which has already happened in our minds, but we must remember. And so if we are seeking for idols in form, then it's going to be a hard journey. And I think I had this beautiful moment whereby I realized that I thought that my inspiration was in this world, and I'd become completely and utterly inspired by the world. It's just, there's nothing here. There's just nothing really inspiring. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter if I speak. It doesn't matter if I wash the dishes. It doesn't matter. Like, what is the true inspiration? What is the purpose of being here? And it was that I could see that still there was a purpose for the world. And it was like so dissatisfying because as Jesus says, it's a desert. It's desolate. There is no life here. There's no life whatsoever. So, and this is not your home. So how can you be at home when you are not at home? And it's like, yeah, that's the conundrum that we find ourselves in. And so I was looking at this inspiration in my mind, like, truly, what is inspiration? And through my prayers, it was that actually the only thing that really sings to my heart is just to be with God. That is my inspiration. I don't want to make anything of myself in this world. There is actually nothing for me to do. However, if this body is to be moved around in time and space and to be helpful, then it has to be through God. It has to be. And it was like, as soon as I put my attention on, that is where I want to be. And if you're to inspire me, you inspire me, because I don't know my own best interests. I don't know what's best for me. I don't know how to be used. But you do. And so if I can be of any help, then I'm yours. And so I think that, like, it's like we seek, we stop, and then come back to the real purpose. Because this world is one big distraction, and it's easy to get caught up in, oh, this is what I want, like, you know, this is coming from my mind. You know, we have to remember that this is all projection. As Devavan was beautifully pointing out, like, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you, because you're calling it forth in your mind. And so whatever is appearing is because you asked for it. And so that's why he's teaching, no, you're not the victim of this. You're not the victim of the world you see. You asked for that, and you receive as you have asked. And of course, it's not that we ask for too much, it's that we ask for too little. And so really here today, we're just joining in this deep prayer together. It's like, I want the peace of God, you know. And as he teaches in 185, if to say it is nothing, but to mean it is everything. And it's like, we can all sit here now and you can feel as if you're listening to some speaker, but there's nothing that I can do to give you anything in a way. You have to want it with every fibre of your being. You have to say that statement with everything that you have, you know. And that's why, as Devavan was pointing out, how Jesus is very, very direct with us. To say you want the peace of God is nothing, But to mean it is everything. And so you really have to mean what you are saying. And so we have to really, really be honest with what we want. You know, there are a lot of whims in our minds. There are a lot of things that have nothing to do with your happiness, that have nothing to do with your joy. And it's like, of course, they are just going to be washed away. And Jesus is just waiting for us and just saying, yeah, you just need to get this out of your system. That's all. But in truth, that's what we have to come back to. We have to come back to the peace of mind is everything.
Thank you. Please keep the translators in mind, Kenneth.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. I got a little excited because it's everything. Yeah, so really, I just want to share my gratitude. I want to share my gratitude to everyone here. Thank you for coming for me. It's the other way around. It's always the other way around. It's like, thank you for coming to rescue me. You know, I love that prayer. I think it's St. Augustine. And he said, if thank you was the only prayer you had, that would be enough. Thank you.
And thank you doesn't need a long translation either, or everybody can translate the Holy Spirit into thank you, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, just thank you. It's just so simple, isn't it? And that's the thing, you know, we want to make this so complicated, don't we? This is what I see. I'm like, why am I making this so complicated? It's like he's offering me joy, you know? And I'm like, yeah, but I've got so many things to do.
Yeah, we are really understanding it completely differently because we are understanding it with the mind. No? I love it when brothers are telling me when I teach in Spanish, no, with my Austrian accent, and then they say, you know, I almost understood everything you were talking about, though I do not speak Spanish.
Exactly.
Because we understand with his mind, no?
Exactly. You know, it's beautiful actually, Devavan, because I had a message. I do some episodes called Get Real, and I had a friend, she messaged me, she's Spanish, and she said, I just want to thank you for the episode today. She said, I really, really loved it. And she said, also, my mum wants to thank you as well. She speaks no word of English, but she absolutely loves your episodes. And I said, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
My work is done.
That's communication, no? That's communication. That's what
and that's how you started this, wasn't it? Through the communication. And it's like, it doesn't really matter about the words. If you're trying to listen to the words, it's like, but this woman is sitting there, she doesn't understand, and she says, I love it. Because you're right, it's about the connection that we share.
It's called listening with the heart, no?
Exactly. Yeah, beautiful. Well, I'm actually so grateful that we got to do this together, Devavan, because we've never met before, and this just feels so beautiful, this beautiful collaboration. So I just feel so grateful that you weren't able to do the Friday. And now here we are, and you sent me a message, and Andreas, and here we go. It's God's plan.
Right, exactly. Jesus wanted us to get together here, no? And thank you for being willing and open-minded, and just here's the space. It's oneself, and we make a one demonstration of truth. Period.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Yeah. Such a blessing. And again, yeah, thank you, translators. I tried to be slow. I did try. And thank you.
I think we understood everything, even though maybe there were things lost in the formal translation. But joy translates into joy. And it translates very well directly.
Exactly.
So thank you, Devavan. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, everyone, for your patience with the Spanish channel. We're gathering more information about what was going wrong and stay in the joy of God. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys whenever we have the next opportunity. But the message is clear: don't wait for anything. Don't wait for anything or for anybody. And
exactly.
What else could we do, right? So please feel invited to use the festival or use the warm-up or whatever to remember this joy that does not cease or go away.
We are perfectly warmed up, Andreas, isn't it? 10,000 years warming up. Plenty of nothing.
I love it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.